The bride was 46, yet she was still radiant. Her eyes sparkled with happiness. After many years of courtship, John of Gaunt, the son of King Edward III of England, finally married the governess of his children. Thus, Catherine Swinford officially became a princess. She was born in the year 1350 into the family of Sir Payne de Rowett. This Flemish nobleman came to Britain alongside Philippa of Hainaut, who was destined to become the Queen of England and the wife of Edward III. For his loyal service, Rowett was granted a prestigious position, and soon after, he married, welcoming 3 daughters into the world: Catherine, Isabella, and Philippa. Naturally, one of the Rowett daughters had to be named after the English queen. Young women of good breeding at court were often placed as ladies-in-waiting. So, when Catherine reached the age of 15, she began her service under the quiet and modest Blanche of Lancaster. This young lady was married off to the son of King Edward III, John of Gaunt. Blanche was known for her agreeable nature and came with a vast fortune, which, in the absence of other heirs from the Lancaster line, passed on to John. Already a well-off prince, he was thrilled to inherit such an unimaginable fortune and adored his wife. Of course, John of Gaunt met Catherine Rowett early on, but he was too busy with military campaigns, as the 100 Years' War had already begun. Additionally, John's elder brothers were frequently away from London, engaged in political affairs on the continent and in Ireland, so Prince John of Gaunt often found himself left in charge. Meanwhile, Catherine was married off to Sir Hugh Swinford. Her surname, which she would be remembered by in history, came from his noble title. Everything seemed fine until the main benefactor of the lady-in-waiting, Blanche of Lancaster, passed away, worn out from multiple pregnancies and childbirths. Catherine's fate could have taken a drastic turn, as she would have had to seek new employment, but Lady Swinford was allowed to remain at the Lancaster estate. Someone had to look after the young children of the deceased Duchess. Prince John of Gaunt was deeply saddened by the death of his wife. He even made a will stating that he wished to be buried beside Blanche. But time went on, and wounds began to heal. Besides, this beautiful Catherine Swinford was constantly in his home. It's unclear exactly when their romantic relationship began, but by the year 1371, the entire English court was aware of the affair between John of Gaunt and Lady Swinford. The situation was scandalous, though not uncommon. Family members advised John of Gaunt to temper his passions and consider marrying a foreign princess instead. The choice fell on Constance, the daughter of King Pedro the Cruel of Castile. John's father-in-law had a history filled with extremely unpleasant events. All of Europe knew that Pedro had ordered the murder of his father's mistress and his own wife. However, Constance of Castile, as a direct heiress, could bring a crown to John of Gaunt. A political marriage took place. However, John never forgot about Catherine for a moment. By the year 1373, she had given birth to a son, followed by 3 more children. All of these bastards were acknowledged by the prince and were given the surname Beaufort. Additionally, John of Gaunt's official mistress had substantial income from 2 estates in Nottinghamshire. At the English court, it quickly became a topic of sharp wit that Gaunt's legal wife, the Castilian princess, received far less. Did Constance of Castile care about this ambiguous situation? Absolutely. As a royal daughter, she was not about to tolerate the insult from some upstart. She lodged complaints with the king and her confessor, and pressure began to mount on John from all sides. Interestingly, Catherine had the support of the prince's older children, the very ones she had raised while serving as their governess. Philippa, Elizabeth, and Henry barely remembered their mother, as it was Lady Swinford who had always been by their side. But John of Gaunt had no choice but to comply. Public opinion and the royal family pressed so hard that he was forced to dismiss Catherine from her position as governess and send her away from his household. From the year 1381, Catherine lived in Lincolnshire. For some time, the lovers hardly saw each other. Furthermore, John of Gaunt faced the prospect of claiming the Castilian throne. He attempted to seize power in his wife's kingdom but failed. Disheartened, John returned to England and into the arms of Catherine Swinford. Constance could do nothing more. She tried once again to rally older members of the royal family to her cause, but they merely waved her off. Disillusioned, Constance of Castile abandoned hope of winning back her husband and passed away in the year 1394. After waiting an appropriate period of a year and a half, John of Gaunt, the Duke of Lancaster, married Catherine Swinford. Decades of their relationship were now solidified by the bonds of matrimony. It was a joyful union forged from true love. Just to be safe, John reaffirmed the legitimacy of his children with Catherine and even secured official recognition from the new king, Richard II. Unfortunately, fate dealt them a brief hand. John of Gaunt died in the year 1399, and Catherine followed 4 years later. Then, in the year 1485, King Henry VII ascended to the English throne, and he was a descendant of John of Gaunt and Catherine Swinford.